Coming up, the halftime trivia question. Jamie and I, Glenn Suitor, now joined by Premier Brad Wall, back for Premier's picks. This year it is the King versus the Premier. We'll get to the overall records after week one. But Premier, it looks good from your end on week one, but it looked really good for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 39-18 over the Evil Empire.
It looked very good. Well, it sounded good. I listened to the broadcast of the game, pulling the camper out on to start the holiday. What a great start to the holiday. The whole campground seemed to be just a little bit happier than it otherwise might have been. You know, there's a lot of, in any provincial park in the province, there's always a lot of rider gear and flags flying, and I think they were flying a little bit higher after the game, notwithstanding the fourth quarter.
Okay, we need your everybody's weighing in. Dwight Anderson, what do you think?
You know, did we not kind of expect a little bit of this? Maybe it's good that it happened in the first game. Get it out of the way. I like what Coach did on the sideline. Maybe the message is received. But, you know, Huffnagel couldn't, quote-unquote, change him. And Tressman couldn't change him. So, you know, it's probably a work in progress, but maybe good that it happened in week one. But, hey, I got a question for Glenn.
Yes, sir.
Is Glenn on the line?
Yeah, he's here.
I am. Yep.
So Glenn, if Coach would have come up to you and said, you know what, we want you to move up to weak side linebacker from safety, what would you have said or thought? I'm sure you would have said, you bet, but what would you have thought?
Yeah, I would have been in the weight room about 30 seconds later trying to put weight on and get a little more upper body strength. It's a transition and a tough one, and it is the other way too, to take a linebacker and make him a safety. Right. The angles are different, and how you attack things is completely different when you're back there that far off the ball. So this could have a big payday down the line, but it also could put two guys sort of out of position for a while and uncomfortable. So we'll see. I'm waiting and see on this one.
You know, Again, I didn't get to see the game. I listened to it on the radio, and read all the articles afterwards. But it seemed to have worked. Pretty well. I mean, but you're right. I guess we need to see it for a few more games.
Tyrone Brackenridge, we thought they'd move him away from making plays, but he led the team in tackles. So there's a sign he was right there involved in the play, as maybe moving him around a little more as the season goes on. They can be really inventive with this. Premier, you've never written up a defense where you may want to confuse the other guy on film, or no?
You know, when I was defensive coordinator for the Swift Plumbing and Heating Golden Gophers, and later the Stark and Marsh chartered accountant Vikings, we ran the 48 defense and thought that worked pretty well. So I'm not sure what the pro equivalent of that is.
48, so 4 linemen, and then everybody else just does whatever the heck they want, or what?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, you got. It's minor ball. You got to watch the sweep. You got to watch it's gut and sweep every other play, right?
Nice. I love it. The 48 defense.
Yeah.
8 guys, do whatever you want. Just get to the ball.
Isn't that what Gary Echeverry wrote up?
That's sort of what you...
Probably. Yeah, that is sort of like an etch defense. And, of course, all the kids in the 8 linebackers, and, well, of course, they were lined up not quite as linebackers. We had, notional defensive backs, but everyone wanted a blitz, right? You're coaching kids, so they all want a blitz.
Well,
maybe that's true in the pros too. Did you want the safety blitz called quite a bit, Suits? Or?
Well, you're always hinting that. Every player is hinting. Yeah, send me. I'll get there. Yeah.
I don't know what the equivalent of that is in politics, but I think there's something there.
Well, I was going to ask which if one of the ministers stood up in the House and gave a throat slash gesture to the opposition, how he would have handled that.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be very good. It would probably be the parliamentary equivalent of objectionable conduct. That would have been. You get 2 chances to apologize for something like that, and if you don't, you get kicked out and fined. So, maybe there is a parallel there. Maybe that would work.
Dwight Anderson, $750 fine. What is the fine if you get fined at the ledge?
I think it's a day's worth of sitting pay. I think that's what at least it used to be. I can tell you that I don't know for sure.
That's a good thing. It's clear you haven't got a fine. So we're about 3 minutes away from the halftime trivia question. So it's time to bring in the King. If you're all right with that, Premier Wall.
Absolutely. Just Jamie, are you still getting any grief at all from anybody, including Coach, on the Raiders hat?
Nope, I'm wearing it every day. Every day, I'll be wearing the Raiders hat. No, they've stopped. I think they've gotten over the fact and understand I'm a Raider fan. Gary the King Nickel went 2 for 2 last week. The Ryder Gnome went 2 for 2. That's Winthorpe, all capital letters like the Red Blacks. If you're putting it in print, went 2 for 2. And the Premier went 3 for 1. So a 1-game lead already for Premier's picks. Gary the King Nickel, how do you feel about week 1?
That's not bad. Normally I'm used to the offers, so this feels pretty good.
This is an insurmountable lead, I think.
Well, if the years past have taught us anything, yes, I'm already done.
It's only downhill from here. Let's start with Winnipeg at Montreal. Premier Wall.
Ooh.
You know, I'm going to go with all home teams this week, so full disclosure there. But yeah, Alouettes.
Well, I'm just writing it down. So, Gary, you have to make this interesting if the Premier is just going to throw out all home teams this week.
Just noticed that. Well, I guess I got to go with Montreal, right? Even though Winnipeg looked way better than we expected. Quite surprising. Was it 38-33 or something like that?
Yeah, so Premier Wall, so you're going Montreal. They both went Montreal last week as well, which was the only game they agreed on.
Great nines think alike, Jamie.
But Toronto, BC, Premier Wall, this is a good one. BC didn't look good. Toronto looked a lot better, but you're sticking with the Lions at home.
Absolutely. Yep, Lions at home.
Why is that?
You know, first of all, they roared back on the Stamps. I mean, they made it really, really close. And I don't think the Toronto defense can hold up if Lule gets it going. So I'm going Lions.
Gary?
Well, great minds can also clash, and I'm going with the Argos, baby.
Toronto, that means Winthorpe has BC.
No, it doesn't count. If you add baby, it doesn't count for anything more, you know.
Okay. Well, I was trying to pump up the crowd out there, get this jam going.
It was just win, baby. That was the motto of the Oakland Raiders.
It was, and what a great motto it was for all the years of the Raiders except for the last 15.
Yeah. The Saskatchewan Roughriders, Calgary, no doubt about it. The Premier's going Saskatchewan. The King, what do you have?
Looking to blow it up, the old bracket buster. We're taking the Stamps. That's 2 in a row now. I went against the green and white, so I'm sure the hate mail will start flowing in quite smoothly.
Really worked out well for the first week.
Tweet your text when you do that, King, when you go against the Riders? Do you get any?
Actually, no. You know I'm not popular enough for that, Mr. Premier. I just pretend.
And
I could send you. Look at if you. I could send you an angry tweet or two.
I'm sure you get a couple, hey?
Sure, I could just forward the ones that I get on to you.
Sounds good. I'll be the old punching bag, no problem.
Great. I'm waiting to see Twitter light up over the next
couple. Send it all to me. Yeah.
Edmonton at Hamilton. Premier Wall, you're going with the Tiger Cats. Pretty easy after the way Edmonton played in week 1, I imagine.
They don't look very good, King. I wouldn't go contrarian on this one.
There's no way, even though I really want to blow this up, I have to go with you on this one, Mr. Premier. I have to take the Ticats as well. Edmonton was an absolute joke to watch. Even with those free whatever it was, 40,000 extra yards that Mr. Dwight Anderson gave them with his little tantrum, they still couldn't manage to win. So
near 40,000, close, not quite.
Unbelievable.
So Premier Wall has Montreal, BC, Saskatchewan, Hamilton. The King has Montreal, Toronto, Calgary, Hamilton. Winthorpe, all capital letters, Ryder Gnome, Winnipeg, BC, Saskatchewan, Edmonton. We'll tally it all up after week 2 next week. Premier Wall, enjoy the rest of your vacation.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Have a good day.
That is the King versus the Premier here on the Green Zone.